Welcome back to Boomer's Playground, and today we're going to be going over conditional branching. So it looks like if statements. So sometimes we need to perform different actions based on different conditions. If to do that, we can use the if statement and the conditional operator, the question mark, also called a question mark. So the if statement is pretty straightforward. It's literally just if, and then you do some sort of thing that will give you a true or false value. So like in this instance, we got this prompt. In which year were you born? I'm not going to copy all. Oh, screw it, I guess we can. And then what we can do is we do if year equals 2015. Let's console log correct, and you can do an else. So there's a couple things we can do with if statements here. So if all we care about is if this is correct, we want to do something, this is all we need to do is just a single if. Now let's say we wanted to do something if this is correct, but if it's not correct, we wanted to do something else. There's this catch-all called else. And so I'm sure it's going to go into some detail in this here, but yeah, so let's just check this out. So we'll do 2010, and you'll see we get not correct. And then so we'll do 2015, and here we get correct. Now, one thing I do want to show you guys, and remember how I told you we don't ever want to use the double equals sign, we always want to use triple equals. And here's why. So let's pretend we were doing something with this year. So let's say we wanted to take whatever year was put in. So like, let's say we do something like, yeah, so let's say we do like, what age are you? And let's say if they're 21, we want to take their year and we want to add 10 years to it. All right. So we have this double equals, and I don't know if you guys remember from one of the previous lectures that this prompt always gives us a string. So I'm sure you guys can already kind of tell what's probably going to happen here, but let's do this. We'll say I'm 21. And look at this. We wanted to add 10 to year, but because it was a string, we actually get 2110 when actually we wanted 31. This is a stupid contrived example. I don't know why we would add 10 to a year, but I just wanted to showcase why we always want to use the triple equals. All right, so, okay, so not ideal, not really what we wanted. So let's say, so now we use the triple equals. So now we do 21, and we actually get not correct. And so you guys are probably thinking, well, it is 21, but we're using the strict equality where it does not convert the types. So this is saying, hey, is the string of 21 the same as the number of 21? And they're not the same. So you did the two equals, we now have a bug because it converted it to a number or whatever. And you're like, gosh, why is this not working? And it might take you a while to figure this out or track this part down. So this is why it's so important to always use triple equals, because now we run this and I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm like, that's weird. Well, this is being false. and then I'll come up here and I'll look, and I might do like a lot of times what I'll do is, like nowadays I would probably see that and know right out of the gate. And again, you're not really going to use prompt, but like what I would probably do is I'd probably do type of year, and then we come in here and I see string, and then I'm like, oh, duh, that's why it wasn't working. So now I know to do this. I'm gonna wanna do this so that I know it's a number. And so now we get in here, and now it does equal. So I just really wanted to show that that's one of the main reasons I suggest always using the triple equals, because you will catch these weird kind of JavaScript-y things that doesn't necessarily happen in other languages, but it can definitely cause you some pain if you're using double equals, and sometimes you get caught like that. So in the example above, the condition is just checking, but it can be much more complex. You can do multiple checks in here. You can do multiple things after the fact. If you just have one thing happening after, you don't need the curly brackets and to break them down. But again, for code readability, you really should. So Boolean conversions, the if statement evaluates the expression in its parentheses and converts the result to a Boolean. So whatever you're doing in here is going to give you a true or false value, and that's going to decide which part of the if statement to run. So the number 0, an empty string, null, undefined, not a number, all become false. Because of that, they're called falsy values. All other values become true, so they are called truthy values. So this instance, the code in here that they're just not showing would never run because it's saying if 0, which 0 is false, so this will never be true. And then here, because we have a 1, or a truthy value, so it could be like a string, or it could be the true actual Boolean value, this will run every single time. You can also do stuff like this. So like for instance, in this example, we could do like let is 21, we do year equal 21, and then if is 21, console log, yes. Oh, crap. So do 21, and you'll see we get yes. If I do this again and I give it any other value, we get nothing because all we have is this single if. We don't have any other code to run. So here's the else clause. This is kind of what I showed you at the beginning. If you want to do something if this is true, but you also want to do something if it's not true, you'll want to use this else. And then we can even do else if. So this is just if you want to check multiple things. So let's just say, so we'll do is 21, is 18, and is 65. So let's say we wanted to do certain things. So if there's 65, we want to console log and say, and I'm actually going to do, that way I can just rerun it without having to refresh the page. So if that's that, we say you are retired, else if, and then we can do another check here, is 21. You can go to the bar, else if is 18, Sorry, you can only smoke. And so here, if we do 65, we'll get the first one. If we do 21, we'll get the second one. If we do 18, we'll get the third one. And then we don't have a catch-all, so if we do any other number, we're not going to see anything. So what I'll do is I'll just throw an else here, and console.log, you did not pick a correct age. And so this way, if we do like 43, we still get something. So that's all the else if is. If there's multiple things you want to check for, you know, like, oh, I think an even better example would be like grades, right? So let's do, what percentage did you get in class? And so what I would do is I would do A is B is C is D and is F. And so an A is going to be if, let's see, grade percentage. So for grade percentages greater than or equal to 90, that's usually an A. Grade percentage is greater or equal to 80. And grade percentage is equal to 70. Equal to 60. And I won't even have an F1 because if none of those match, we can just have our catch-all do that. So now it's important that we do these in the proper order, because if we put is D first and you put 90, that's technically greater or equal to 60. So even though it's a D, this first one is going to run, even if you had like a 90 or an 80, this first one is going to run and it's going to break our code. So do is A, is B, else if is C, and then else if, and just do our catch-all, you failed. So here we want to do you got a C. You got a B. You got an A. And you got a D. Okay, so it's going to check in order. Oh no. Oh crap. Percent. Sorry guys, we got A, B, C. That's one downfall to doing a lot of stuff in the console is if you don't run it, it goes away. All right, so we got greater than or equal to 90. Greater than or equal to 80, greater than or equal to 70. I will do 60. I will go D. All right. And so, like I was saying, it's really important that you put these in the proper order. So I'm purposely putting them in the wrong order because I want to show you guys something. Let's see. Else you failed. You got a C. You got a B. You got an A. You got a D. All right, so why this is important is JavaScript runs top to bottom. And so the first check is it's going to check this. So anything greater than 60 or anything 60 or greater, this is going to be true, and we're going to hit this block of code. So let's say we do put 90 in there. We should be getting an A, but 90 is technically greater than 60. And so this will be true, so this will run. So just to show you, oh no. Oh. Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's do 80. You got a D, even though 80 is a B score. And so again, that's just because JavaScript runs top to bottom. And so it's just checking. So it's important if you have a lot of these else if statements is just make sure you think about it and you put them in the right order. So now we should be good because we're going to check is A first. So if I get 80, is A is going to be false because 80 is not equal to or greater than 90. And then is B is going to be true. And then same with we get like 75. Well, A is going to be false, B is going to be false, and C is going to be true. So we got 75. We got a C. We got 90. We got an A. We got 34. We failed. So keep that in mind if you're chaining a bunch of else if statements together. That you may need to check and make sure you have them in the right order so that the correct logic is done. All right, and so here we have the conditional operator. Let's see. Okay, so this is called the ternary operator. And all it's doing is we have a condition, so this will be what was in our if. So like if age is that, so that's what this would be. And then we have the question mark. And then the first value will be returned if this is true. And the second value will be returned if this condition is false. So we'll just do is, we'll do, we'll pretend we're doing like a bar site. So is 20, so we would check if well, now we should change it to age. So we're going to check if the age is greater than or equal to 21. So that's our condition. And so if that is true, we want to return true. If it's false, we want to return false. And then we can come down here and we can do is, if is 21, you can come in and drink. else. Sorry, you are underage. You can't come in. And just for funsies, we'll do console.log and we'll do is 21. All right, so we'll put 21, or we'll do 43. So you'll see that this is 21 is actually true because this conditional check, so just like in the ifs, just like in this if right here, it's got to be something that equates to true or false. Now, what you return over here can be anything. It doesn't have to be true or false on this side. Just so I can show you, oh crap, that's not what I wanted. Let's see. So we'll do the string of no. We'll do the string of yes, and then is 21 equals yes. Check that. And so this is just showing that the stuff over here, the thing that you return, can be anything really. So we'll do 43 again, and you'll see it's just the string of yes. And then I updated my if statement to match that. And it says you can come in and drink. So this is the ternary operator. I use these a lot. These are used all over the place. You will see some people that chain these together, and we have a rule at work that you can do one chained conditional like this. Anything more, you need to break it up because it just gets super ridiculously unreadable when you do like a bunch. So here, yeah, so these are just showing a couple examples. You can put the parens around, but you don't have to because you only have one. Well, I guess you could have more than one condition there, I think. Actually, I don't know, can you? Let's find out. Let's do z equals true and true. Oh, so you can have multiples. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can wrap it in parens. You don't have to. I traditionally don't, but it's completely up to you. If it makes it easier for you to like pick this out in your code, there's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This will likely be a decision made by your team in your code style guideline on whether you do stuff like this or not. Okay, so here, so perfect. This is an example of chaining a bunch of them together. So here we put if age is less than 3, return hi baby. If it's not, check if age is less than 18. If it is, do hello. If it's not, do check if age is minus 100. And if it is, do this. If it's not, throw this one down. So this really, like, this one isn't super awful, but yeah, just like look how difficult it is to kind of like wrap your head around and go through and rethink. So like I said, on my job, we allow one nested condition, but even then, you got to have a real good reason for using that. The way frameworks and everything works right now, an extra line of code is going to mean nothing by the time it gets minified. So it's not back in the day when we had to worry about memory for every single thing that we did. So yeah, here it's just going through saying the same stuff. And then let's say you wanted to do an if, else, if. We got this. And again, it's extremely important when you do these checks, because if you have this age is less than 100 up here, it would almost always be true, and none of the rest would ever run. Non-traditional use is, so you can break it down into a new line, but most people just keep it on one line, and I would encourage you to do the same. And then there it's just comparing the conditional to an if. So that's just to help you kind of understand them both. I scan code vertically. Code blocks which span several lines are easier to understand than a long horizontal instruction set. The purpose of the question mark is to return one value or another depending on its condition. All right, if a string with 0. So this will be shown because the string of 0, there's no converting happening here. It's just asking, is this a truthy value or a falsy value? And we know that the string of 0 is a truthy value. So this will always work. Using if-else, construct, write the code which asks, what is the official name of JavaScript? In the visitor, if the visitor enters this, output right. Otherwise, you don't know this. Okay, cool. So let's just do C. We'll do prompt. What is the official name of JS? And I know I had a misspelling, but I don't care. We're going to do if C equals ECMAScript. We'll console log right. But if it's not that, we will console log wrong. So do ECMAScript. You'll see we get right. One thing I do want to show you though is, and I mentioned it earlier, that capital A and lowercase a are not the same thing. So the capital version of a letter and the uppercase version of a letter are not equivalent. So let's say I did this, ECMAScript. Technically, I typed ECMAScript in, but I'm getting wrong because the capital E and the lowercase e are not the same. So this immediately is not equivalent to each other. And that would be the same even if we did the double equals, because it's just, they're just not the same values. It doesn't have anything to do with types. So like even if I do ECMA and then I just miss the S, I still get it wrong because the capital S does not equal the lowercase s. So we'll probably cover this more when we get into the strings chapter, but something that I would do in this instance is I would notice, okay, hey, if they don't get it perfect, this could be wrong. So on strings, there are these two methods, and they're called two uppercase and two lowercase. And all they do is exactly what it sounds like. Since it's a method, you're going to do dot and then whatever that method is. And we'll go deeper into this in the string part. This is just something that I thought of as I was going through this. So this takes this and it uppercases every single letter, and the same for lowercase. It lowercases every single letter. So what I would probably do is, and I mean, you could to lowercase, and then I would just make this all lowercase. So even if I do, I'm still right because let's actually, all right, so ECMA. So you'll see once we do the two lowercase, every letter's been lowercased, and now we can just check against this, and that will make it a little easier for us if, you know, they may be uppercase one, but not all of them are not the right ones. So for something like this, that's what I would do. But yeah, so they're just prompting there, and then they're checking for the exact one, which is fine. Whatever. All right, using an if-else, write the code which gets a number via prompt and then shows it in alert. 1 if the value is greater than 0, -1 if it's less than 0, and 0 if it's equal to 0. All right. So let's get num. And then I'm going to just right out of the gate, since I know I want to do math on it, I'm going to just wrap it in a number so that I know it's a number. And so then what we can do is we do if if number is greater than 0, we want to, and I'm going to console log, I'm not going to alert 1, else if num is less than 0. But notice that I'm using less than and greater than. I'm not using the equal or the greater than or equals. And that's because if I were to do that, when we put 0, this would run and be true, and we don't want to. And then you could do another else if, but I'm just going to do else because there's literally no other thing that it could be. So if it's not greater than 0 and it's not less than 0, that means it's got to be 0. So in here, we can just console log, we'll do 0. So we'll do a bunch there. We get 1. And then if I do negative, we get -1. And then if I do 0, we get 0. So for this one, the order wasn't super important because they're very finite things. But yeah, this last else, you know, we could have done else if num equals 0. But like I said, if it's not greater than or not, if it's not greater than 1 and it's not less than 1, that means, or 0, sorry, that means it's got to be 0. So we can just do this else catch-all. All right. So I think prompt 0 value. Oh, okay. And I guess I didn't even need to do the number thing now that I'm thinking about it. Because remember, if we're using these greater than or less than or greater than or equals to or less than or equals to, it automatically converts it to a number. So I guess we didn't really need to do that. I think that's just habit. Rewrite this if using the conditional operator. All right. So we'll have result, and that's going to equal, and then we have to do our condition, which is a plus b greater than 4, which, oh, shoot. All right, let's do A. A is 1, and we'll do B is 5, so that it will be, oh no, and we'll do 1, so it'll be true. So result, so this is the variable that we want to use. Whatever we want result to be either below or over based on the condition. So A plus B greater than 4. So this is our condition. So this is the thing that's going to check and give us true or false. So if it's true, we want to return below, and if it's false, we want to do over. And so here you'll see we have below because 1 plus 2 is 3, which is less than 4. So the first thing gets returned. And let's just do, we'll do 5. And so now it should be 5 plus 2 is 7, so we should get over. So you'll see we get over. So whatever you want the variable to be named, and then we have our condition, and then the question mark, and then the first thing is if the condition is true, the second thing is if the condition is false. And here you'll see they put the parens around. I traditionally don't, but that's fine. All right, rewrite if else using multiple ternary operators. Okay, I don't like this, but whatever. Okay, so message. All right, so let's do this. So first we'll do login. We'll do employee. And then we'll do message, which again is the thing. So you'll see here we're setting message each time. So that's how I know what we want. All right, so if login. And again, this is one of those things where I would probably do to lowercase, just in case this was something that they could type in. And then I would just do that. And so if that's the case, we'll do hello. Otherwise, we're going to do login to lowercase equals director. We are going to return greetings. Otherwise, login to lowercase equals nothing. Sorry, I keep going in and out of full screen mode. Sorry, guys. No login. Oh. No login, and then we have a final catch-all else, which we could just do here, because if this first one isn't met, we're checking this one, and if this one isn't met, we're checking this one, and if this one isn't met, we just do that last bit there. So we should get hello, perfect, and what if we do director? See, we get greetings, and if we get no login, and then else is, I'm not sure, oh, I guess it would be if it's anything else, we just get nothing. So again, I don't really like this very much, but I think they're just making sure we understand how it works. So let message, login, hello, login director, greetings, no login, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. All right, so now we're getting into the point now where you're starting to see how you can progress with your program, and you can do different things based on data. And that's really when the fun gets started. So I hope you guys learned something today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section below. And like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.